So recently, Adam Pearce has unveiled the new Women's Intercontinental Championship. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving my 5 picks on who I think should be the first ever Women's Intercontinental Champion. And just a little disclaimer, this is a mid-card championship or the Workhorse Championship, so I'm not going to be saying any main event names. Capiche? Starting off with wrestler number 1. Starting off the list with Zelina Vega. She is one wrestler that I believe can go in the ring and on the mic. She is definitely one of the most entertaining luchadoras on the main roster. And the last time that I've felt like she was a star was back at Backlash Puerto Rico. Ever since then, I felt like she has lost her footing and really gotten mixed in the middle of the card. So I'm hoping that this Women's Intercontinental Championship is something that can actually reignite her flame. Not only does this reignite her, but it also shows that she can be one of the top stars. On top of that, WWE needs to turn her heel. Need I remind you that when Zelina was paired with Andrade back in NXT, her promo skills as a heel was one of the best when it came to the main event scene. So this is me hoping that if she does become the very first Women's Intercontinental Champion, I hope that she can actually showcase her talents on the mic and in the ring even more and separate herself from the LWO and maybe, hopefully, turn her heel. Now moving on to wrestler number 2. Does anyone know where the Kiana James is? I'm not sure if she's injured, and if she is, I apologize. I may have not seen the reports. I feel like it's such a missed opportunity for WWE to draft Kiana onto the main roster or move her onto the main roster if they didn't really have any plans with her. With what I've seen on NXT, I feel like Kiana James is one of those wrestlers that have real in-ring grabs. Apart from being a great in-ring competitor, I feel like Kiana James has one of the more interesting gimmicks, and her gimmick is that she is a self-made corporate ladder climber. And this would have been an interesting gimmick to put into the mid-card division, especially now when the title was introduced. See, when Kiana James was first drafted to Monday Night Raw, it looked like her story was that she was aligning herself to be Adam Pearce's assistant. And with her being Adam Pearce's assistant, I felt like she could have pulled some strings, like getting a free pass in the first round. But anyway, she is my number 2 pick on who I think should be the first ever Women's Intercontinental Champion. Now moving on to wrestler number 3. Now the next 3 wrestlers that I have on the list are what I think are the definitions of a workhorse, especially with a workhorse title. And if I'm being honest, this list that I made, I really wanted to focus on these 3 specifically when it comes to being the first ever Women's Intercontinental Champion. And that is why my 3rd pick is Alba Fire. I know she's in a tag team with Isla Dawn, but if I'm being honest, I don't really care about the tag team division for the women's roster. And in all honesty, I think the tag team championships are cursed. I've been a fan of Alba Fire ever since she was still Kaylee Ray in NXT UK. And I always thought that she had a presence about herself, you could say an aura about herself, especially when being a world champion in the women's division. Side note, she's also had one of the longest reigns in WWE as NXT UK's women's champion, and she held the title for 649 days. If you've ever seen her matches on NXT or NXT UK, you can see that Alba Fire is one wrestler that can take the nastiest bumps. I mean, just look at her War Games match in 2019. Like what I said with Candice LeRae, you can see the video up in the card. Alba Fire can definitely, if given the chance, be candidate for match of the night. Now on to wrestler number 4. Okay, now this is a pick where I feel like there's gonna be some controversy with how high I put her on the list, and I feel like people are gonna have her much higher on their list, but this is my list. I don't care about your opinions. But anyway, another great wrestler that just works well as a heel is Dakota Kai. Let's be honest, Dakota Kai has never been really given the time, the chances, or the opportunities to showcase her in-ring capabilities or her promo skills. But believe me, King Kota is one of the greatest workers in the women's division. She has an insane and very entertaining moveset to watch, and since she is the mouthpiece of damage control, she can easily convey the story with her promo skills. Dakota Kai is definitely one of those wrestlers who deserve their flowers, especially with what she's given to the women's division. The way I would establish her to be this dominant force is really have her win the entire tournament and really establish herself as a heel or maybe babyface, but someone who doesn't need to cheat to win. Now moving on to wrestler number 5. Lastly, but not the least whatsoever, is Lyra Valkyria. This is a pick where I feel like I am extremely biased. The reason for this is, like Alba Fire, I've been a fan of Lyra Valkyria ever since NXT UK, and I became a much bigger fan when she moved over to NXT. Coming out of the gates hot as a draftee for Monday Night Raw, I really felt like Lyra was going places, especially since they had her make it all the way to the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. But ever since the Queen of the Ring tournament, she has really lost her momentum. It did not help, especially when she was put with the Party Girls. Look, I don't have anything against the Party Girls, but let's be honest, as soon as she was put in with Kaden and Katana, her momentum went boom! And honestly, I blame the booking. She was getting over organically, she was getting over with her moveset, her promo skills, and it came to the point where in her entrance, people were doing the woo part. I really hope that when it comes to the women's IC tournament, that Lyra Valkyria actually wins the entire thing. Not only does this establish her as a fierce competitor and hopefully moving her on to the main event scene, but this also gives respect to your draftees from NXT. And if that can be done, all is forgiven, and if not, we fucking hate Triple H! But anyway, that is it for the video today. Tell me what you thought about it down in the comments below. Tell me what your ideal plans or your ideal booking decisions are for the Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament. If you like the video, give me a like, give me a subscribe, hit that bell icon. Stay safe, and I'll see you later.